All right, now this should be better. I don't know what was going on a second ago. Let me check YouTube's. Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, it's working this time. All right, let me share it. Okay, good. Okay, it's working this time. All right, let me share it. Okay, good. Okay, it's working this time. All right, let me share it. Okay, good. Okay, it's working this time. All right, let me share it. Okay, good. Okay. What is this? YouTube's? Let me close that. Oh my God. No, I'm doing too much. Yeah, family. So saw me digging my nose, but don't sweat it. See, I done moved too fast, so hold on. I'm gonna try to start out here for as long as I can. Your boy is already sweating. You know, I'm extra chocolate, so yeah, I definitely attract my for everybody. I attract my fair share of heat, and yeah, this ain't a good look. But I wanted to go live with y'all. I've been missing y'all the last couple of weeks, and I didn't get to show how it was for me at Charleston. I made a little video where we were on the beach, and that was about it. But this time I'm in Panama City, and as you can tell, this is live, so there's gonna be people walking behind me doing all types of stuff. I'm outside of the hotel. I wanted you all to get a look at what I see. So we're gonna look around a little bit. We on the bay, so I don't even know where I'm staying, but Little Haven or I don't know, something like that. Yeah. Enjoy. It is a beautiful view. And that is a great thing to wake up to. And this is funny because this is my first time in Panama City. And it was so hilarious to me that I was actually coming here because as a kid, I remember watching um, MTV Spring Breaks. And I swear, one of the places I swear I wanted to go was Panama City and Cancun. So little did I know I'd wind up in Panama City. So this is low key like a dream come true, which is funny. And since we're going to talk a little bit about symbols, this is definitely a symbol of accomplishment, a goal. I got to go to one of the places in MTV Spring Break. So I'm crunk about that, seriously. And ironically, as I'm traveling around, I've been thinking about moving and trying to think about where would I like to move to. I just kind of really want to maximize my money a little bit more. And so far, of all the places I've been, I really like the vibe of Panama City so far. Um, it's been really calm, very mellow. I've been meeting interesting people, but I do that anyway. That's one of the probably the best things about being on the road so often is how many interesting people I meet along the way. And really, I think that's beneficial for the ministry for the most part because it's what I love to do. Be out here with the people, interacting with them. We're gonna stay out here as long as we can, and then your boy is probably gonna take it inside because I don't want to know. But I really dig the vibe, and it's calm and laid back. And the ironic thing was, I was thinking about how it has small time feel, And then I had to think a little bit. Part of this small town feel that I'm witnessing with Panama City is because it's still in the rebuilding stage from the previous hurricanes. And coming from North Carolina, in the center of North Carolina, we don't have to deal with hurricanes like this. You know what I mean? I guess the biggest one that we had in the Charlotte area was Hugo, and that was a long time ago. I don't think anything else that was like Hugo as far as hurricane came through. And and that puts things into perspective, especially with us on this healing journey for ourselves. It's kind of like the rebuilding process after the hurricane that is trauma. And as much as we may like that rebuilding process to happen very quickly, it winds up really being a slow process. And at times along the way, you run into things, or you might hit a new storm, something traumatic. You just run into things that wind up happening in the process. But the beauty of it, and the beauty that I see, is the dedication that the people have and the resilience to make this place what it once was. And I say that because for us, and speaking of symbols, those can be symbols that we can use to guide our own process. So I know we're not at the home studio, so we're not going to go too deep into symbols tonight, because I definitely want to have the whole family to have the opportunity. That's TikTok, that's Instagram, and Facebook, to have the opportunity to be able to join in with this conversation with us. But there are a couple of aspects that I do want to talk about, and, just share some stories. One thing that is very symbolic in our lives, and we don't even realize how often we deal with them, but it's this idea of parables. And a lot of times we use that word parable as it relates to religion. And next week, when we got the whole family, I'll start drawing that direct connection for you all on how these things and these symbols are connection discussion. But parables are supposed to provide some sort of insight, some sort of guidance in life, or a lesson, like the parable of the phoenix who arose from the ashes brand new. Father told him not to. Uh, One of my favorite and all-time parables is one that I heard. I was probably about, man, family day regularly, which is an event that they have basically, but all you just bring your family, and low key is nothing but fellowship. They just call it family day, and they meet and they have discussions. One of the OGs stood up and told this parable. This is one of those birds that's supposed to fly south for the winter. He get there in a safe amount of time. He kind of lollygagged around, and he waited to the last minute to begin. It just happens to start snowing, and the snow is getting heavy, and it's weighing this poor little bird down. And at some point, the snow got so heavy that he crashed to the ground in an open field. And he laid there, and the snow came by, and he did what cows do. It took a poop in the field right where the bird was. And the heat from that started to melt the snow, and it low-key freed the bird. And the bird started chirping because now he warm and he feel like he can fly south now. But while he's chirping, a cat came through. And story is, and everybody that gets you out that shit ain't your friend. And you see how that sticks on you? Because I feel like that's a lessons of discernment and a lessons of patience and forgiveness. Because sometimes the people who care for us the most will make mistakes. Remember how we talked about those good intentions? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So we got a little bit of everything. I actually like this. Everything is going over, Javi. This is a great show right now. And I was going to run up to my room, but I feel like everything happens for a reason. So even these people, the wildest things, I took a video. You could see the fish just swimming up at the top of the water. So people out here fishing like crazy, and they don't really have to do no work. But last night I met a black couple, older couple. They had about 5. I couldn't tell what it was. It was just, all I seen was a little cord, something thrown over, and they was just sitting out there. And then I seen them start going to get it, and it's funny. And I was like, they must be fishing for crabs. And me being who I am, I'm like, I bet they get them crabs to eat, them fresh crabs. That's what I'm thinking. So later on, I talked to the dude as I'm standing out here. I'm like, y'all fish for crab like it right now. And then he said what I already knew. But we don't sell them though. If you fishing for crab right here, of them doing that together symbolizes. And watching them do that together, because it was funny, because as he talking to me, I see his wife go up there and snatch up one of them buckets, and I see her little arms just moving. Wow, 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 wow. She's pulling that bucket up quick. And I saw the beauty in that as symbolic of their union, their love, quality time. And you tell us something, talk about the power of suggestion, but how other people's thoughts and ideas have incorporated with our own to the point that we're not even living our own. And I say that because a lot of people would say, as a man, he ain't supposed to have this woman out here doing that physical work, crabbing and all that stuff. But you can tell she might love it more than him. And he seems like he loves it because of her. And the other part of that you see symbolized is sacrifice. So when I looked at it, you can tell they've been married for a long time. And one of the symbols that we will talk about is relationships, and how marriage symbolizes a lot of shared interests, all types of things that their marriage symbolized for those. And I asked the questions and he told me the stories without even being intrusive. I just asked, hey, brother, having that interaction, which is great too. And speaking of that, like since I'm talking about the symbols that I'm seeing out on this road with that family, when I was in Charleston, another one that I wound up running into, I had my first ginger shot. And it is a shot of straight ginger. And it was funny because I met this girl and I got to share something with them because her boyfriend was in there drinking Sprecher soda. And I've been to the Sprecher factory. So being able to tell someone how their factory actually brews the sodas, it's exciting. So he over there like, wow, I really know. Yeah, they brew it like beer. So you just drinking a beer soda. It's not beer because it's not alcoholic. It's a soda. But the process for them to make their soda is just the same way they make their beer. And after talking to his girlfriend, asking them about restaurants and all these things, and she had, I don't even have my ring on now. I took it off. Hey, do you want to take a ginger shot? I could tell that they're regulars. They were taking the ginger shot with their, and they knew the bartender. So all four of us took this shot of ginger. And if you've never had a ginger shot, low key, the best way to describe it, like I eat ginger snaps and stuff like that, but if you've never had a liquid ginger shot, it gives you, it's like the spicy aftertaste is more kind of like hot sauce, but it's not hot. You know how hot sauce can hit that tonsil back there? That's kind of how that ginger shot does. And then I see why he likes it, because if you're trying not to drink, it does give sort of like that burning effect of taking a shot. So I think it's a very good mocktail. That was my first time having a ginger shot. And for us in this conversation, for me, that symbolicness of the openness allowed me to make new connections and find out new information and all types of things. So I was thinking about another story, just another example of my interactions is getting clearer. So when I was in Charleston, there's a guy that he's a brilliant man and he's done amazing things with his life. But there are parts of his life that I knew nothing about. So I knew he had been above board things. But they keep calling him pastor, right? And I didn't know they used to call my so forth. So I didn't know if that was a nickname or if he was really a pastor. So one time I asked him, hey man, you really a pastor? I don't know. It says we not connected. So we gonna check. Give me a second. Because I don't know what we not connected to, if we are not connected at all. Okay, shoot, we still live. What are you talking about? It must be Twitch or something. Okay, shoot, we still live. Listen, I couldn't even see all that. I appreciate you, Liberty. I hate I missed that. None of that didn't even come up on the screen, and normally it does. So, nope, I didn't put my feet in the sand. I didn't put my feet in the sand. I know that's right. I appreciate you stopping by. There's a weird echo going on, so we're gonna cut that off. So, I guess we still live. Yeah, the Streamlabs mobile is way more interesting than Streamlabs, what's his name. At some point, I might wind up replacing them, but as of right now, we're going to do what we do. But anyway, back to my Andy story, since we're just telling stories right now. Oh, I didn't say his name, and I said I wasn't going to. Hey, look, this is how wild it is, because there's people out here just rowboating. You see him? It's right here in the bay. And they probably just pulled up on the side, hopped out, and went to work. So I do really enjoy living water outside of dealing with the vibe. I think about moving here. Listen, the humidity is a fool. Now, I don't want to live any place that is hotter or more humid than North Carolina, and this place is it. So, much as I like the vibe, lo siento. Back to the story. So, I asked him, is he really a pastor? And dude say, yeah, I've been a pastor for blah, 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 have so long. And knowing this man, I was like, look, bro, you got to tell somebody smoking weed. You got to tell me, how did you become a pastor? And he said, look, I ran a club for 9 years. And you meet this man, you can tell he a country boy. But like I said, with his professional resume, you wouldn't think he's done something like run a club, but he was running a club. This girl too, because he wound up marrying this girl. So he said it was this girl that used to come by, walk by the club all the time. And he used to see her. So he said one day he asked her, hey, where you going? And she would say she's going to church. And He said he ain't believe her. So the next time she come, he asked her again, and she say she going to church, and he still ain't believe her. So he says one day she says she's going to church, and he followed her. And he said he been in the church ever since then. And some other advice that he said was, I asked him, when I asked him how he became a pastor, the first thing he said was, I was called to it. Okay, I got that. That's what they all say. Now tell me the real story behind the calling. Because the part of that, people say they called to it, but that call to it doesn't come like, woo-hoo, like somebody call you on the phone. It's a process. There are steps, there are events that lead you down this path, such as myself, me talking with my OG, and he talking me into considering stuff like that. So I asked him, and then he gave me some advice. He's like, I told him that my OG said to look up Reverend Ike and somebody else. And he cut me off in the middle of my sentence. He's like, you don't need none of that. Don't listen to none of that. He said, read the book of Titus and Psalms 24. And those will tell you all you need to know. Outside of that, his main point that sticks with me was you'll be guided by God. So you don't need nobody else's blueprint at this point, because when you're on the path, you're going to create your own blueprint. And that was symbolic of me because that's one of the things that my OG was trying to tell me, that in walking on this path, to be a voice to combat some of this negativity that we deal with all the time, I'm going to create my own lane like I've always done. And I appreciate now, this is the wildest thing about it, which is one of the things I'm most appreciative of, is that I'm building it with family and friends, people I actually care about. And y'all aren't necessarily just supporters. I don't even like to say fans or anything like that, but I call y'all soul family because ultimately that's what you are. You're the family that we're creating together on this journey to reach the million voices, the million souls, and recognize the God within ourselves, and recognize our power and our authority and our responsibility and accountability while we navigate this thing called life. Thinking of symbols, I was thinking of one of my favorite ones. I'm laughing because I was joking with some of my coworkers about symbols, and we were just talking about one, and this is where this one came from. When I was a little kid, I used to fight a lot. And the funny thing, I need to stop saying that because I didn't fight a lot. There's a period in my life when I lived in New York. That was the only place I fought a lot. I fought all the time in New York because at this time period, New York gives you an option. You only got two choices, and they don't allow you to play in between. Either you're going to be a hunter or you're going to be hunted. You know what I mean? And I was a kid at this point. I came from Cali. Life was different out in Cali, especially where I lived. I wasn't in LA or something. I was in Merced County in Atwater, California. So it was just a different vibe. And so being there, I fought a lot. And I thought about telling y'all about with me and my homeboys. As kids, we call ourselves starting a gang. That's the best when I'm thinking about that. So at some point, you know what? I had a little bully in me. And one of the things that I knew, those kids that can randomly find herself in the hallway, walking past your classroom door. And I would either act with a donkey, which I did a lot, or I was going to fight somebody after school. And my favorite symbol was always because at 3 o'clock, We in a fight. And I can't even lie. I can't even tell you the amount of times I had somebody do that to me too. So that's the funny thing about being in that position or a place like that. No matter how big you are, no matter how tough you are, there's always somebody else. So everybody gets that opportunity to feel what it's like on both sides of the coin. But one of my symbols was that hand symbol of frustration, and we are going to fight. Your buddy going, he don't have, he's just a skater boy. Say see you later, boy. Is a big part of my life. You know, I'm looking at some of the things I want to talk about as far as symbols. And one that I'm kind of stuck on right now is hope and belief. So, hope, for lack of better words, is symbolic of many things. But the simplest way to be able to describe hope is like that one piece of light that shines in the dark. When all is hope is probably like that mustard seed that they talk about of faith that you should have. That's the size of faith that you should. But hope is like that light. It has some akin to faith, but I think faith is made up of hope and belief. Hope can be a comforting thing, especially in those situations where things seem hopeless. So hope can be that thing that wakes you up that morning after all things are lost. Hope is what the people of Panama City have after those hurricanes came through. And belief, I heard somewhere someone said they don't have space for hope because they fill it up with belief. And initially I was like, what? But then I thought about it. Belief is symbolic of a lot of things too. But the one thing that belief is that we deny sometimes is the power. There is the power in belief. Belief is the action of these things. Think about how many wars were fought over beliefs. People are still fighting over beliefs. Beliefs have action. No one is fighting for hope. Hope is basically potential energy, and belief is that energy of action. It is that kinetic energy. It is that motion. And in these things, while we're on this, we're going to use hope as our shining light and belief as our acting steps, and combine those together. Those will design our faith, because we can't just hope that we're going to be our better selves. We got to put the action with that belief, and those two together will create that faith. And in that, we will know that we will definitely be our better selves, because we're doing all the things that are necessary to be able to do it. Listen, my screen is going ham sandwich. It is. It keeps saying that we're not live, but I know we are. We've been talking for a minute. Woo. So interesting. I've been having a lot of conversations about love, and I've been telling people that love's a companion emotion. We always like to say what love won't do. And there's a reason why I say love is never enough. It's not enough by itself. Love by itself is a roller coaster. And if you've ever had love and just love, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, for love to function at its full potential, it needs to be attached to something. And a lot of people, and what brought this up is that Cam Newton thing. And I told somebody, I say, his love, a lot of people, some people probably think that he doesn't love those women that he had children with, but he does. The only thing is his love isn't necessarily connected to commitment. His love isn't connected to being in the house with those children. His love is connected to himself. So one thing that we can recognize that that man has, that we all can take a little bit of, is self-love. His love is attached directly to self and nothing else. Clear enough. And that's where bringing the idea of the sins of the father. But all this to say, because one of the things I want to talk about as a symbol is cheating, and how quickly we tie cheating to lack of love. But cheating symbolizes more than that. And it really depends on what you attach your love to. I remember the first time I heard, what is that? You know, it's physical cheating, emotional cheating, right? And in that context, I learned that the people who even use the language of emotional cheating, their love is attached to that one-on-one bond connection. And if you bring something else in that, they will feel like that's cheating. And it doesn't have to be a physical inclusion. It can just be which a lot of people get lost, those conversations with people outside, those work husbands and work wives, those things you do that you really don't want your mate to know. And all those things can be cheating and symbolic of many different things. But you have to really find out what is that love attached to, and then that'll give you some idea on what cheating is symbolic of to that person. So for me, and we talked about it, I've definitely I've learned over time. I used to think love was enough and love would be it. But more importantly, something that I value more than love is respect, and what respect symbolizes to me. Respect does symbolize love to me. Respect symbolizes loyalty. It symbolizes value. It symbolizes appreciation. It symbolizes a lot of things. So for me, respect is the most important. So if I feel disrespected, I'm definitely going to feel unloved. And if I feel respected, I'm definitely going to feel 1,000 times loved in a bunch of different ways. So, I really don't want to get into the deep stuff. Career and family represent money. I guess what they not represent money, excuse me. They are symbolic of other things as well. And the funny thing, I was talking to one of my coworkers, and one who has somewhat seen me as someone in need of mentorship and volunteered to do it. And they asked me if I had a magic wand, what is something that I'd want now? And I said one, which is ironic. I definitely would. I say it's ironic because I always say I don't want no church. That's not me. It's not my thing. But I definitely do need a dedicated space to healing. You know what I mean? And then the other one I said was family. And because of what family symbolizes, especially in a field that is family dominated. And the funny thing about that is a lot of times we focus on how this idea of family affects women in their career and in their dating lives. And we always talk about how fanciful it is for men. It's just sugar and berries. But there is a certain level of difficulty that men who don't have a family, and I mean in the sense that they've never been married and don't have children, come into contact in their career because of what family symbolizes. For example, we will never have, and many people will say that that's not true, but what I'm saying that men don't get hampered because they don't have family or never been married. But think about it like this: we will never have a president of the United States, whether they are male or female, that is single, unchild, and never married. Because as far from family values that this country has gotten in action, in our belief systems, which we are willing to fight over, the idea of family symbolizes stability, good choice, consistency, commitment, leadership, all these things. And it was wild because I really started noticing it as I got to the executive level of my career. Everybody had been married, and everybody is a gross misrepresentation. But if there's 10 people in the room, 8 or 9 of them have been married or have children or currently are married. And in moving up, that's a new glass ceiling that families not having that can create for you because of what families symbolize. Whew. Now it is starting to smell like fish out here. And I don't like that. So we're gonna wrap it up, family. Next week, well, Thursday, we should be able to have book club. If you were able to join me tonight, I appreciate you for any amount of time. So Thursday, I will be home Thursday evening. So we'll start back on routine by having book club. And I am in town for the next couple of weeks. So we should be good. I will do the show Tuesday, regardless on Monday being the holiday, because I miss you all. I want to be in the studio. I want to get with the mic. I want the lights and everything, the whole setup. So, but yeah, Thursday we'll have book club. We'll be wrapping up. Well, we're not wrapping it up yet, but we're still reading Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. So join us for that if you can. I don't know why none of the comments didn't come across the screen. She was commenting her life off too. And if not, I'll see you Tuesday back in the studio. I appreciate your time. We're gonna go deeper in symbols, a little more organized, so we can start drawing some direct connections, use some quotes, things of that nature, to help this be so we can create some action steps along with this talking about symbolism. But I appreciate you. I would give you another shot at the view, but it's terrible now. It's dark. Yeah, you can't see nothing. See? But I appreciate you. I'll see you Thursday if you can make it. If not Thursday, I look forward to kicking it with you on next Tuesday, family. I appreciate you as always. Until next time, peace.